In a world with entirely too many shows about cars, this is another pointless automotive podcast.
Friends, family, enemies, soon to be enemies, possibly.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us again for another Pointless Automotive podcast. Frank, how are you doing tonight?
Wah, 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 wah.
Is that positive? That's good.
Yeah. No, that's that's the noise I make when I climax. No, there was I'm
A
doing quite well.
Is that a vuvuzela? What is
No, the vuvuzela. That's like okay. So that noise is like the
Rave
I don't know,
air
the
horn.
Jamaican DJ in like 2004 air horn noise. The vuvuzela
Is the
is more of like
soccer
a
one.
droning like wah 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 wah,
That-
almost like
right.
a didgeridoo.
I was gonna say that's very didgeridoo-ish.
but more like it's like a didgeridoo, but instead of like the more less throaty and more like for
I
lack
didn't
of a
think
better
you
way
could
to.
get any less throaty. But anyway, you're gonna summon a minotaur if you do that didgeridoo again. That was brilliant.
That would be. I'm pretty sure. Isn't a minotaur like a Grecian
It's
thing?
it's
I don't know.
well, it's from Magic the Gathering. There was a didgeridoo that summoned minotaurs. You'd
Oh,
know.
that's right. No, I'm not.
Yeah.
All I know is like the Black Lotus. Is that the one that's worth like infinite money?
It is. Wow. Well,
I think that's the
versed you
only
are.
thing. That's the only thing. That and there's like, isn't there like one that they got rid of because it's like kind of anti-Semitic? Like they got rid of like a card because it said like
No.
I don't know something about like banishing the money counters. I don't know. There's like
So
there's some weird. I think there's some weird like anti-Semitic.
I thought that was popular nowadays. Isn't that the new counterculture is being anti-Semitic? But what were you saying?
Well,
You are close. There was one called like Unholy Strength, and it
Mm.
gave your black creature that's a color mana. It's not a not
Sure,
an outdated term. It gave a black creature control +2/+1, which is power and toughness. And the symbol used to have a pentagram on it. And they took the pentagram away because it was too because people used to say like Dungeons and
pentagram,
Dragons, Magic the
pentagram.
Gathering was
No one
devil
cares about a
worship.
pentagram. No, I thought there was one that was like had Nazi undertones or something that they had to like get rid of. Maybe not. Maybe
It's all-
maybe I'm
it's-
conflating it. It's fake
it's-
news.
It's all open
No.
to interpretation, isn't it?
It is, and that this is your Magic the Gathering moment.
You
of
know,
the
I
pod sponsored by Wizards of the Coast. Wizard of the Coast. If you want to get sued by a card gaming company,
that's
that's
the
all
one.
I know about Magic is that it's owned by this place, Wizard by the Coast, and they like sue the shit out of anyone for like anything. We're getting sued now.
I played that game. I wish we need the publicity.
the pub. Yeah.
No, I played that game for 20-something years, man. I can talk a little bit about Magic the Gathering.
Which coast are they on?
West. I think it's Seattle, Washington area, if I remember
Seattle.
correctly. I don't know.
That makes sense. Like all the doom and gloom and rain, you're just like
Sure.
stuck inside. You're like, fuck. I guess
Yeah.
I guess I better make this like this card game that the cards are worth money and there's a secret anti-Semitic one.
Just remember that anti-Semitic game got me an NSX by trading in my
Which one?
funds, So
Yeah,
which
that's true. It led to your NSX.
We're crossing my hobbies here. But
Yeah.
anyway, let's talk about
that
what we intended. We did have an intention, guys, when we set off on this expedition. And this is, I don't know, man. I think this is topical. I think it's in the news a little bit, and we could both speak to the subject fairly adequately at best. Where's the beef, Frank? Where have all the V8s gone? Honestly,
Well,
in today's automotive marketplace, and we can just sing some praise. Let's sing some
speaking of
praise.
anti-Semitism, Henry Ford, inventor of the V8, effectively.
I was like, is he going Porsche? Is he going Ford?
Right. Yeah. There's really. Yeah. What were all these German manufacturers doing in the mid to late 30s and early 40s? But yes, V8s. Which as an actual engine architecture,
Right.
very pro-Semitic. I think. I don't think there's anything anti-Semitic about the V8 engine per se.
No,
Therefore, I like a good V8 engine.
absolutely.
And I would say it's funny. There's always one thing that us car idiots talk about a lot is the noises that engines produce.
Yeah.
Right? Like, oh, when VTEC kicks in, or a nice smooth inline six or a V12 or the V10, the LFA, and on and on and on.
Or a burble tune on a G35.
Right, exactly.
No, just
Straight pipe, gutted cat, test pipe. No, yeah, the VQ. So no, I think at the end of the day, the good old cross-plane American V8 is consistently the best sounding engine. And kind of like, because there's like, yes, V12s and V12s are great, but like, unless they're like really singing and screaming and have the right exhaust and stuff, like they kind of can just sound like a pair of angry sixes.
Sure.
Same with like, Viper isn't going to win any.
No, it's a truck
quality
truck
competitions.
Yeah.
But like, kind of even a shitty V8 with an okay exhaust can sound pretty decent.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, I think the king of noise is noise with the boys. It's the V8.
Yeah, sounds a big deal. And I think use case and variety of applications. You can have a flat plane crank V8 that revs to the fucking moon and back in a high horsepower sporty application, or you can have like a low end grunt torque focused truck motor, both of which are V8s. So I mean, I think like you spoke about the architecture, you can make a V8 do anything you want it to do, and they've been making them for so long, right? It's effortless highway cruising. You don't have to rev them out. They're very capable. They make enough power, and they don't have to be like always on boil to get you where you need to go. Super simple. I think of the UZFE line of engines from Toyota. Just goddamn, it's just simple, under stressed, still good power, and what's there to say? So I think V8s just for versatility and just their history, man. They go back and they work. They worked for so long. Why are we getting away from them? And I think that's what I wanted to talk about, because they're kind of an endangered species, to tell you the truth. If we look at the modern landscape right now, and it's been going on for a little while, but I'd say the V8's probably becoming endangered.
Yeah, I would say it's on the
threatened list.
Watch list. Yeah, like the threatened, right? Because you have what's between, before you get to threatened, there's I know least concern is like you're not worried about it. Least concern right now is probably hybrid 4 cylinders, or hybrid gas electric in general.
I think watch list is what you get on based on all those websites you visit.
Yes,
right there with no fly list, and also pulling your weighing out in a school playground gets you on that watch list.
In my defense, no. The
wardrobe malfunction.
It wasn't technically a school; it was a childcare center. No,
it was after hours.
Yeah, it was after hours. I thought it was me and 7 of my closest friends.
I thought I had another pair of pants on underneath.
Yeah. No, the thing is, yeah, there's fewer, but I'm hopeful that, because we're seeing a lot of like the pendulum swinging back, right? Yeah. Where the pendulum was, say, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, middle of COVID, swinging hard towards like everything is going to be electric, and that's just the wave of the future, right? Like we're going to say our whole fleet's going to be electric by 2025 or 2030 or whatever,
right?
And now it's swinging back, and you see manufacturers going, just kidding, we're not going to do that. And that was happening before US elections and stuff, so it's largely apolitical, although the current political situation, even though there's a electric car manufacturer effectively in the White House, that was started before this, I think. Is that pendulum swing back to gas powered stuff. And so I hope there's more room for V8s in some form.
Agree. And then supplanting them is like turbocharging and supercharging, right? Which has kind of been sprinkled in the past, but more so than ever. A lot of car companies are moving away from traditional V8s and adding some kind of charging, whether it be supercharging, turbocharging. The Toyota Tundra comes to mind, the LX V8, both powered by some of the most reliable V8 engines ever made that we've already kind of referenced. going away with these twin turbo sixes immediately hit with manufacturing defects, all this kind of stuff. And I don't think it's a flaw of the engine. It was the manufacturing process. They'll probably, knowing Toyota, of course, they did the right thing. They took care of the engines, just like they did with the LS400. If we go back to the early 90s, good customer service there. But you can't help but like be upset that they got rid of this fucking absolutely dead nuts reliable power plant, and then immediately are faced with this massive recall when they roll out a more efficient turbocharged power plant. And I think some of the soul went away with those two trucks, stepping away from that old faithful, if you will.
Yeah, and like I get it. Like I get it why they're doing it, why it's happening. But I would be more interested, and I would be curious if the buying public at large would be more interested in, instead of them going, hey, we're gonna build a 3.5 liter V6 with some turbos on it, and there's also going to be a hybridized version of that.
Right.
Now you've got power, you've got torque on demand, because you've got a hybrid option, and you're getting better fuel economy, lower emissions. I would love a world where that same truck you have maybe you just have a 3.5 liter V8 or a 4 liter V8 with hybrid power. Right? So you still get that feel, that gut, that and even more so with hybrid. So you hybridize, you get that low end instant push, you get that torque.
Sure.
And you can still get that smoothness. You still get that feeling of butchness for the sake of a truck, right? Like that's half the battle. That's what the buyer wants, especially when you're spending now I'm gonna get the whatever, the From My Cold Dead Hands edition, and it's a $97,000 pickup truck.
Yeah, right.
You don't want it. And what's interesting is to see is like the new Tundra comes out with the turbocharged V6. Those engines start shitting the bed and they get recalled.
Yep.
And that's right after F-150 is out and about, and they have the EcoBoost V6s that are constantly shitting the bed.
Yep.
With like timing belt and cam phaser issues, and they've got like a belt driven, like a wet belt driven oil pump, and like
ridiculous.
A bunch of dumb shit.
Yep.
And those are unreliable, and so that it's like cat's out of the bag. It's like by happenstance, it's like manufacturers are proving that like, oh, these engine, you don't get the turbocharged V6 in a truck now because they all shit the bed.
Well, it's even more than that. Is cool. You get it's not even that great of an increase in horsepower nor MPGs, to tell you the truth. Right. I know CAFE standards, any improvement helps across your entire your brand. Yeah. But with this, complexity is the issue. I think complexity is the biggest downfall to anything being considered long-term reliable, right? Like even adding that hybrid to a V8, sure, it's going to be more similar of a power band than folks are used to and up the fuel economy, but you still have a hybrid power plant now. So you're not going to really see the 500,000 mile UZFE V8 mileage, right? Turbos are the same way, dude.
Like, I would trust Toyota to be able to do it. I've seen enough really
500K on a hybrid system. I don't.
And if you can make it where there's actual, and here's the thing, like you have to be able to build a reliable system, which Toyota has proven they can do.
Yeah, good
but
name.
On a truck
name
where
for
it's
their
like
hybrid system too.
Yeah, exactly. And so you
Atkinson,
can have
for those following along.
Atkinson cycle. Although I think that's only on the Priuses. I don't know if it's on the other. Like I think my wife's high. I think it's just, I don't think they changed the cycle of that.
That's much bullshit.
3.3 liter. I think it's the auto von
asphyxiation.
Winkle. Yes, exactly. Yeah. Boy, this engine's really choking itself. Oh, it died.
Hey.
And it's dead. So I think Toyota could do it, but I out of anyone, like I think the Maverick's a great truck. I don't know that I trust a Ford hybrid system to make it to the finish line, right? To do that 350,000 mile lifespan.
Right.
But I think if Toyota just says like, yeah, like we're gonna, not only are we gonna continue our legacy of building very reliable, economical, dependable hybrid systems, we recognize these are built for fleet use. We're going to make them service fleet, that make sure the hybrid system, the batteries, all that are hybrid, like are service, they're serviceable, and we're going to give them a service life. We're gonna stand behind these hybrid systems and make and provide servicing cost effective for 20 years, whatever they have to say.
And they kind of have to, right? Like you associate Toyota with that kind of reliability. But moving on to another brand, how about the Hemi? I know we both like a good Hemi, especially when we have the Semi. But near miss, right? Like Dodge said, they're moving away from the Hemi. They, final edition or whatever the fuck they called it, last call, whatever you want to say, had a plan.
I like how it's like the last call, and then like, oops.
And everybody paid a premium to get those final years, right? Yeah,
right. But everyone, like anyone who's like,
you knew it wasn't
everyone knew.
away.
Like you just
Anyway, though they announced it, the heartbreaking moment for a lot of Hemi fans, and it's still here, baby. The people have spoken, and good for them. I know the Challenger and Charger, a little mainstream, right? A little overkill on the mainstream. I still respect those vehicles. I think for what they are, I think the Challenger hanging on so long with its, I think it's a success in retro design. Probably one of the few true successes. And the Charger looks pretty damn good for what it is too. Like if you were going to design a American-built sedan, that still looks good. I think the new Charger looks fantastic. But dude, just
compared to like a Crown Vic or something, like
sure, like right, yeah, a new Malibu. I don't know. Just the popularity of being able to reverse that decision it's awesome. Like we're not alone in thinking that V8s are fucking cool, right? And I think Hemi personality, you get rid of that motor, I think you lose a lot of that personality in those muscle cars.
Yeah, I mean, it only cost one CEO his job, right? It was like that was the deal. It's just like, oh, Stellantis, kick this guy out, bring back the, it's almost like they're trying to replicate their, what's the classic story, the homie, crossing off the death date of the 9/11 and drawing it like forever off the chalkboard, like we're making it forever,
right?
Very Wolf of Wall Street-esque. And them just being like, yeah, we're gonna do, we're bringing the Hemi back in some form or fashion, and so so maybe it will come back, and maybe maybe they'll do a hybrid thing. I don't trust Stellantis with the hybrid system, not yet. I don't know. Maybe they'll do what Nissan did with the original hybrid Altima and just like lease the system from Toyota,
right?
And just like, we'll just buy the system off of you. Fuck it, we'll do it live, and
yeah, that was dodging the bullet, if you will. Dodge, that was good.
Yeah,
but that almost happened.
How cool is it that pushrod V8s are still around? Like you've still got
how cool is it when you tear down a modern pushrod V8? It's just like tearing down an old muscle car. I love it. I absolutely love it.
More aluminum, but like it's
different metal. Yeah,
but they're so cool. Like as much as like the LS swapping something is like passe. It's also, there's a reason why that's like the go-to, because it's so goddamn good. It's like the right size. It's tiny. They're light,
simple,
easy to tune, make dumb power, reliable. They just work. And the packaging is, you look at one of those motors like undressed, and it's the motor, not you. Like wear clothes when you're looking at the engine.
Well, but just like, mutually undressed still works.
Yeah. It just inappropriately dressed. I'm only wearing a long sleeve shirt right now. I'm not wearing. Anyways,
two of us.
Like it's just they're so compact, right? They've got these little heads because there's no cam in them, and
dangerous choice of words after saying you're just wearing a long sleeve shirt.
This is true. Yes,
little heads.
Right. Yeah, the cam in block. I don't know.
Definitely crank.
Yes,
because I'm cranking.
It's fully cranked. Stroker motor. So the thing is like, but then even like the twin cam stuff, right? So you're talking about like, all V8s have got all this torque and grunt. You don't got to spin them out, but golly, how fun is it? Like an E90.
Oh
X,
God,
M3,
wonderful power plant.
Or Voodoo engine Mustang, Shelby Mustang, or any like real spinny V8s.
Yep.
Golly, they're fun.
You know what? That was a perfect segue, dude, because I'm gonna name some of those Revy. So one of my favorite automotive periods. It's all about V8s today, guys.
Mhm.
2008 to 2010, in there, a little extended each way. We had Europe bringing V8s to the table, and I like every one of these fucking cars. Each to different degrees, right? But you had the E90 M3 that you mentioned.
Mhm.
You had the Audi RS4.
Mhm.
You had the C63 AMG and the Lexus ISF. Everybody coming to the table
Mhm.
with fun V8s. Some of them very high revving. The AMG was on the lower revving side, but made the most power out of those four.
Was it though?
Yeah,
What's the red line on that? I love that engine. That
that
engine is
engine's
so good.
cool,
The
but
M156 is such a special engine.
the M3 and RS4 are over 8,000, right? The
I gotta look
ISF,
it up
I
now.
want to say the ISF is like 74, 76. This is off the top of my head. I would bet the C63 is like 7 or 6,800. I was gonna put money
It
on that one.
is. Why does it?
You better be looking up
Tell me the
08.
red line.
You better be looking up the 08.
I just searched up M156, which was in the C63 to 2015.
That's a little modern, baby.
Just
type in 08. Welcome back to another riveting episode of Frank Googles.
Yes, exactly.
Sponsored by
2008
Hotbot.
Yeah, it was like the Jeeves. Jeeves is sponsoring it. It is 7,200.
Yeah. So yeah, see? So the lowest revving. But if I was going to ask you in 2008, which one of these manufacturers would still be putting a V8 in its
Wouldn't have said Lexus.
Exactly. And that's my favorite point about this is Lexus is the crazy motherfuckers that are still putting a naturally aspirated V8 in their sportier cars. How funny is that? So I did, and I actually looked up to see what the modern offerings, the proxies of these cars.
Oh, okay.
So what does BMW have in their modern M3?
Well, Turbo 6.
Inline 6 turbo. Audi, what are they rocking in their RS4?
There's an RS4? Currently.
2025. Not for sale in the States, though.
Okay.
But nonetheless.
Yeah. It's turbo. Is that the 2.9?
Twin turbo V6.
Yeah. I think it's a 2.9, 2.8 or 2.9.
What did the 2024 C63 AMG have for a power plant? This one's mind-boggling.
So
we'll go with the C63S. What do you have?
The C63S. I know they made a 43, which is a 2-liter turbo, which is insanity. I believe the 63 was that the hybridized supercharged 6-cylinder?
Turbo 4-cylinder hybrid, also in the C63S.
Oh, it's a hybrid. Okay,
dude.
I didn't know that was that. Okay, yeah. What a nightmare.
But who would have known? Who would have guessed Lexus? Not straying. But what a time period, dude. You go back. I wish I wouldn't have given away my Auto Mags, but I gave away my Motor Trend car and driver. I had every iteration of that competition because those 4 cars were just absolutely like benchmarked against each other, built perfectly, and each one unique, but the performance was almost the same across all 4 in pure acceleration. And
do you think that maybe, I mean, outside of, let's say, 1967, do you think the next best time for the V8 globally is like that, roughly 2010?
Yeah, I would,
because you had all of Stellantis, right? You had Chrysler 300s, Charger, Challenger, all that stuff, all the Ram shit.
Camaro SS.
You had Camaro, exactly. You had Camaro. You had
Coyote,
Mustang, obviously, and a couple of different flavors, right? GT. Yep. You didn't have the GT350 yet.
Not yet, but you still had a Coyote V8, which really revolutionized that power plant.
God, what else? You had the Toyota and the Lexus stuff.
You had the CTS-V with a supercharged LS, right?
Yeah. You had all of Europe. I mean, even we're leaving out Jaguar.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
You had the supercharged Jaguar motors, which by that point were reasonably reliable and powerful.
It made good power.
Yeah. You had
Aston Martin V8 Vantage, right?
Yeah, that might be.
God, that's the period.
Peak V8.
I think so.
Wow,
that's
who'd have
weird.
thought? Yeah. Yeah.
What a time. And we're not there anymore. So that's why I wanted to reference that. And kind of Buzz Killington just arrived at the party. But it's funny though. Like you think about it, like everybody, we have to put a V8 in. Like the M3 getting the V8 was probably the weirdest thing to me. I
love those.
I do
They're
too.
so good. Especially like competition. They're so good.
Yeah, dude. And it's fast as fuck. And the DCT version also fast as fuck and not miserable. Way rapid departure from the SMG of the E46, but each one of those cars I do like that I just mentioned. And I think I have a soft spot for the RS4 because that engine was super revvy. It was the only all-wheel drive option. It only came in manual. So I think my vote is for the RS4 now. I kind of like it. The price point's the best, right?
Price point's the best.
ISFs are pretty close too. You can get an ISF for like mid-20s with some mileage on it, but RS4s
is there anyone manual swapping ISFs?
I don't think so. I don't even know what gearbox
cool.
you throw in there, man.
I mean, it's like a T56 or something. I don't know.
Yeah, you'd have to go outside of Toyota, right?
Yeah, for sure. Unless you're going, because even like Toyota guys on Mark IV Supras, because those the V160s that are in those 6Bs are very expensive and kind of not. They're decent. They hold up a lot of power, but they're really expensive. A lot of the parts you can't get anymore. And so people just T56 swap even Supras.
Yeah, I mean, Mark IV Supers. It's like Mark IV Supers are 330 horsepower or 1200, right? I think that's stage one is like 1200. But it's I think that's a good point. But those ISFs, I've driven a couple. So I drove an 08 and then I drove the 12, which sorted all the suspension stuff. The 08s are unbelievably jarring experiences.
Interesting. Okay.
But really, that car is fun. And I don't think the gearbox is bad in that. Modern day standards, it's a little slower. But it has a Lexus badge, so probably the most reliable out of those four cars.
Yeah, it's got to be an Aisin box.
Yeah. So it's everything else is Toyota. So nothing else is going to break. But yeah, each one of those cars is a hoot, dude, and still good value if you think about it. Actually,
yeah, absolutely.
You can get any one of those for under $30K.
Oh, dude, you can get a C6. You can get a C63 of that era.
They might actually be the cheapest. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you see there was that like 180 something thousand mile CLS 63 I sold for a car donation on Cars and Bids, and it sold for like $9,000.
It's fucking wild.
And it's
so much power.
I mean,
horsepower per dollar.
Yeah, it had like a lot of like ticky tack faults because it had 187,000 miles or whatever, and goofy aftermarket wheels and a subwoofer and shit. But like enormous amount of power and speed, and what a great engine! All of those engines are so good.
Yeah, each one. And my least favorite interior though is the AMG.
Ooh,
in the 08s, go look at the 08 interior.
Yeah, because this CLS I believe was an 08, and it was okay. It actually it held up shockingly well.
Yeah.
I'm not offended by it though.
But out of the four though,
out of the four, I think I like the Audi the best. It's just so
many buttons.
A lot of buttons, like as long as like the little like rubberized coating isn't flaking off, which they're one to do
always.
I like they get that really good like Audi Volkswagen click.
Yeah, good seats, really good Recaro.
The seats are very good, and it's like the interiors aren't trying to do too much.
I like the probably the ISF's the nicest in my thought.
Those are really good.
Yeah,
too.
really nice.
I've never driven an ISF,
dude. They're fun. They're like way more sporty than you'd think.
Interesting.
From Lexus, and I don't know. I love them. It's got a lot of personality. I think they look good.
Really,
they still look great, right?
Mm-hmm. No, they're good.
But yeah, I had to bring those cars up, dude, because only Lexus, staying with the V8,
only licks ass. Yeah, and it does make me wonder, like. As you said, like the future of the V8, right? And I was saying, maybe it'll pendulum swing back, and but then you think about it. What I'm afraid of is it will pendulum swing back, and we will get these V8s, and there's going to be hybridized V8s, and turbocharged V8s, and some things, but it's only going to be at the tippy top of the market.
Yeah,
you're going to see the new hypercars and stuff. Instead of having these Screamer V12s, they're going to have turbocharged and hybridized turbo V8s and things like that.
Right.
And then the trickle down is not going to be what it once was. Because even the Mustang, the current Mustang, I don't. Do you see any? Like I don't think they're selling all that well. Like I don't.
Yeah,
Dark horses and this and that. I don't think they're selling great, and I don't.
Isn't it wild that like a Mustang GT has that much power from a naturally aspirated 5 liter?
Hmm.
Like what used to be a supercar,
Oh yeah,
displacement to horsepower rating. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's like Diablo numbers. That's
fucking wild.
Yeah.
And you can go buy one, right? And it's no challenge to get your hands on one.
Yeah, you just get that like signature loan for like 11.9%.
Definitely financing. The Challengers are like that, but the Challengers sell very well, right? Like that's still a thing. So
yeah, get that Navy Federal Credit Union jumbo auto loan.
Hey man, I'm not making it out of my mid-20s. Let's get something fast and fun.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm gonna get killed in the invasion of Calgary here in 8 months, and so
a Mountie is gonna run me through with his saber. I'm gonna make sure I go out with a fucking scat pack wrapped around a telephone pole.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man, I got drafted to fucking invade the Yukon territory. I better Tokyo drift my Hellcat into a parked school bus or something.
You can go buy a Magnum RT with all-wheel drive. That'd be kind of cool.
Oh,
that's your snow car right there,
dude. How many of those did they sell? I can't imagine they sold it.
I don't even think they made that many. Yeah,
that's what I mean. Like, it's got to be under 1,000 total production, right?
Yeah. So someone replied to one of my Magnum SRT8 review, and they said I did the SRT8 engine swap into the RT all-wheel drive, and I'm like,
whoa,
that sounds insane. Like that must be cool.
So speaking of Mopar tangents, this is V8 talk, so it's not really that big of a tangent.
Yeah, we're all cool here.
So do you remember when Chrysler? I don't remember. This must have been the end of the Daimler Chrysler era, where they were doing the lifetime warranty. Do you remember that?
No. How long did they run that bad boy for?
I think like a couple of years. They were doing that's the thing. It's a non-transferable lifetime warranty. So if you go out and you buy your 09 Challenger.
Yep.
I remember at the time it was you get a lifetime warranty, powertrain warranty, engine, transmission, diff, right? Not bumper to bumper.
No,
powertrain warranty.
Okay.
Sick. But I remember it was like there was during the commercials there was an asterisk, and it was excludes like Viper models and SRT and SRT8 models.
Yep.
But I was like, how sick would it be to get a Challenger
RT
manual or RT all-wheel drive, which you could get.
Yep.
With a fucking lifetime warranty.
Wild.
Like, how sick would it be when I wiped another fucking lifter cam assembly,
which will happen, which will absolutely happen with the 5.7 especially.
And then it always made me wonder, and this was I promise, like they're just banking on like 7 people will be like trying to get warranty claims like after 200,000 miles.
Yeah.
Right.
That is so
wild. Like it's worth it because everyone, no one's going to keep their Challenger forever. All the non-powertrain shit's going to fall apart and they're going to get rid of the car. Yeah. So it's a pretty safe bet, I think. But imagine like those 7 people that didn't, right? And you've got your Magnum RT all-wheel drive.
Yep.
With a lifetime powertrain warranty.
On its 5th 5.7. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Like how sick would that be?
That is snow.
Like
I'm gonna keep it V8. I'm gonna keep towing your side quest conversation here. The Challenger, the early SRT8 could be had with a manual. It was the only SRT8 powered car that you could go the manual. I would kill to have one of those in Hemi Orange. I think that would be a car I would love to hold on to.
Thinking about this.
And you want to talk about value? That thing's never going to depreciate. It's the only SRT8 manual, and it's a Challenger, an early one.
And those were good for 425 horse, I think.
Yeah. Yep. And the same torque too. 6.1
Turks.
6.1 Hemi, baby. And that one still, ask me how I know, still had the hello, I'm a camshaft lobe. Hello, I'm a lifter. Let's fucking get together in a serious friction event. But totally manageable. I'm a DIY guy. I did it myself. First time I ever tore into a Hemi, and not a big deal. But dude, just having a 6-speed manual with that power plant, that thing fucking boogied. That Magnum. It's still to this day, out of all the crazy cars I've owned, my son is like, Dad, we need to get another Magnum. Because we used to do traction control off, fucking over throttle steering on every corner from a stoplight. And it was his favorite thing, to be in the back seat and get whipped against the side.
My son says the same thing about the exact polar opposite of a vehicle, the Pontiac Vibe GT.
Very different animal.
Yeah, different critter. Both domestic-ish, right?
Yeah.
Domestic adjacent. So I don't know, man. Any V8s, we love them.
We love them. I do.
I do hope they come rumbling back onto the scene. It's tough. Because as much as I'm trying to be optimistic about the continuation of the pendulum swing, I think we're just going to end up with more shitty, really low displacement, turbocharged 4 cylinders in cars that are way too big. Because it's just the formula to beat the cafe test, right?
It is.
Like in real world applications, those cars are shittier to drive, and they're getting the same, if not worse, fuel economy in a lot of ways.
Yep.
But on the test, right?
The
rolling road EPA tests or whatever, at the exact specifications that the tests have to perform in, then they do better there, and the cafe restrictions get on down the road. But
until you look at data comparing like a 10-year stretch, like what has more examples on the road still operating efficiently, or 200,000 mile test. How many of those turbocharged power plants are actually making over 200K without swapping out turbos and going through O2 sensors and cats and all the fun stuff that'll go when your turbos go.
Or that's the thing now, like the earlier turbocharged stuff where it's just like, bigger, like a smaller car with like a 2-liter or a 2.5-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder that's running like 9 pounds of boost or 12 pounds of boost or maybe 13 pounds of boost.
Now everything's 36.
Yeah, on a 1.4 liter.
Right, which it has to be. Yeah.
And the car weighs 4,100 pounds, and it's a mid-size crossover.
Sure.
With leather and a glass moonroof and 11 airbags and 21s. And so it's I don't know. I don't want to be like old man that yells at cloud, but
it's kind of true.
Fuck that cloud.
Fuck you. Get off my lawn, cloud. But no, you're spot on, man. And the versatility, man. I don't think you're going to get there with these turbocharged. I mean, you can get there initially, right? The numbers look like it, but just the livability of having a V8, like just look at like we said, GT 350R. Like how different is that motor from the motor in I don't know, one UZFE and an old Land Cruiser. Like how different are those V8s? And they do different use cases, but they're both really fucking good. Maybe not reliability on the first one, but really good at what they do, right? And two completely dynamic experiences. So fuck yeah, dude, V8.
We haven't even talked V8 diesels. That's another day.
But yes, another day. Yeah,
that's another ball to wax. So like I don't know. We'll see. I mean, we don't have a choice. We'll see.
We'll see.
We shall see.
Unless we die right now.
Which is a possibility.
I like to keep it up in the air.
Yeah, death. Tune in next week to see which, if any, if maybe both of us have died. No promises one way or the other. If I'm not suicidal, if it's definitely some government agency takes me out, if suddenly there's claims of my demise. The next thing on the ledger, our print ad quiz game.
A perennial favorite for our listeners. I believe you're quizzing me.
I am. Yes. It's going to be the perennium favorite.
Oh,
yeah.
I like that.
Let me pull this thing out while you explain to the good listeners at home what the hell we are up to.
Yeah, don't mind me speaking over the rustling of magazine pages. Frank is going to be going through a periodical featuring a car from the 80s, 90s, early 2000s. He's going to read this automotive print ad. He's going to omit anything that doesn't give it away. I'm pretty bad at that. Remember at the beginning, I did that like every other week, but we've gotten better. We've become veterans of this craft. But he's going to read through this ad. I have 3 guesses to figure out what vehicle the ad is poorly describing. It's usually comical. Every time I fail, he's going to give me a lifeline. He doesn't. He's a jerk. We already know that. It's been established. He hates tech specs. He never gives me details. I don't know how long I can rant about Frank doing this quiz, but it's coming up. I got 10 minutes to get there. Play along at home. Shout during your commute if you're listening to this podcast. Like, how didn't he get that? Trust me, my mind is full of other useless Magic the Gathering information. So apologies for that. But Frank, please roll that beautiful bean footage for me.
Okay. So I'm moderately excited for this one. It's
Sexually?
No, I think that, well,
Let's
I don't know.
Let's not make that judgment.
The lines
call
are
yet.
deeply blurred nowadays.
Good.
It's a 1-page ad. We've got a very close up, action packed Dutch angle front, like 1/8 angle on the passenger side, wheel turned, spinning in what looks like snow.
Okay.
For the vehicle here in question.
Okay.
And I just heard a GoPro beep in my background. I don't think that was in my soul. Anyways, I've got a beeping GoPro here in my garage somewhere.
It wasn't me. I only put those in restrooms. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, they make, when they're in the bottom of that like soupy porta potty water, you can't even hear them anyways.
Soupy.
So okay, at the top, it's got like a little one-liner, and it says, "So much power, you might develop one of those maniacal laughs. Sometimes power can go straight to your head. And if you're talking about the blank, who can blame you? After all, the blank 4,200 6-cylinder engine serves up an exhilarating 275 horsepower. No other SUV in its class can beat that amount of standard horsepower. There is an asterisk. Plus, it has a whopping 275 pound-feet of standard torque. On top of that, with the 2-wheel drive blank, you can tow up to 6,300 pounds. Get 6-cylinder fuel efficiency and get smooth, quiet, refined engine performance. With the blank, you'll have so much power, it's unbelievable, maybe even laughable." And then there's a tagline that I'm not going to tell you just yet because it would give it away. And then there's a whole bunch of at the bottom. The asterisk is not exciting. It says based on latest available competitor data. And it does have, let's see, estimated fuel economy is 16 city, 22 highway with 2-wheel drive model. And there's a fun phone number that we can call later.
Oh, Jesus. It's going to be sex. It's going to be a sex line.
Yeah, sex or on star. That's all we've heard so far.
That's all I get.
That's all you get.
4.2 SUV.
4.2 SUV, 6-cylinder, 275 horsepower, 275 pound-feet of torque.
Fuck. There wasn't a lot of meat on that bone.
Not a ton
it didn't
of
really
meat.
like lean. It didn't lean the British heritage. It didn't go into like Dodge, light your pants on fire.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go. 4.2. Interesting displacement. Nothing's really I mean, it could be my lack of sleep, battling this cold for 2 weeks, and a 1-year-old that doesn't like to sleep either. But I'm not going right to 4,200 cc's of displacement. I don't know. Good horsepower number though, for an SUV. 4.2.
4.2, 6-cylinder, 275 and 275.
Fuck me.
There's a 2-wheel drive version.
Sure, yeah, and then a 4-wheel drive. I'm assuming,
presumably,
or a 1-wheel drive. Who knows? They might have fucking mixed it up.
Or 3.
Could be
it's
a
got
5.
a spool in the rear and an open front diff. Yeah.
All right. So SUV in the snow. I'm assuming there's all-wheel drive. 4.2.
Yeah.
Fuck me. It screams domestic to me, this ad. I don't know why.
So much power, you might develop one of those maniacal laughs.
Maniacal. Where are we going with this, Frank? Where are we going? 4.2 V6. That's a big V6. It's a big boy.
It never said V6. It said 6-cylinder.
Oh, true. To be fair, it's a big 6-cylinder.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of V8s with less than that. Lots of British V8s with less displacement than that. I don't know, man. This is tricky. 2.7.4.2.
Got an opening salvo.
Boy, dude, I don't really know where I'm going to go with this. This is tricky. Domestics with a 4.2. I'm a fucking moron. And this is not old. This doesn't seem like an 80s truck. This is going to be, those numbers are way, way too sexual for an 80s truck. This has to be 90s. 4.2. I don't think did they make a Vortec 4.2? I don't know. Maybe we'll just start there. Let's go. I know it's not true though. Maybe. Let's go with this is a fuck.
It's not a fuck.
This is a fuck. This is a fuck. Let's go with I know it's not true, but Chevy Tahoe 1992.
It is not
Sure.
a 1992 Chevy Tahoe. I do not believe the Tahoe was ever available with a 6-cylinder.
Yeah, it was always a 5.3 was
with the exception of, I think you could get a Tahoe trim level for like 1 or 2 years on the S10 Blazer.
You could, which would have a 4.3,
which would be the 4.3, correct,
with way less horsepower.
Correct. That said, I will tell you for my next hint here is I did blank out something ahead of 4,200 6-cylinder engine. After all, the Vortec 4,200 6-cylinder engine serves up an exhilarating 275 horsepower. So Vortec 4,200. Additionally, the additional hint I'm going to give you is amongst that fine print at the bottom that I yada a bunch over.
Yeah.
Is 1 year OnStar sight and sound is standard on the blank.
So we're definitely
call 1-800 OnStar 7 for more information.
We're not talking to the same guy again. He's the only guy manning OnStar, by the way.
Yeah. He's effectively he's like the GIMP of OnStar.
Okay, so shitty ballpark, decent. I just wanted to confirm we are in GM land. We are with a Vortec. A 4,200 though.
Yeah. Vortec 4,200.
It's a lot of power though. God, are we supercharged?
It's a good end.
No,
it's a
we're
good
not
end.
Supercharged. We can't be.
It did not specify. It said 4,200 6-cylinder.
That's a big
get
number.
6-cylinder fuel efficiency and get smooth, quiet, refined engine performance.
My S10 Blazer from 94 with a 4.3 Vortec makes 170 horsepower. So we're like 100 above that, which is wild. Unless you're hitting me with some early 2000 shit, which I never know. God, dude. This isn't, I don't think we're in, no. Because there was never an all-wheel drive. No, no. I was going to go to Typhoon and Cyclone Land, but that's 3,800, I believe. So, dude, why am I tripping up on this?
I think that is the 4.3.
Is it?
I think.
Oh,
I don't know.
For some reason, I thought it was like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, who knows?
Never really been into those.
It definitely, we wouldn't be talking all-wheel drive.
No.
God damn it. I'm failing. 4.2, huh?
Available with OnStar.
Man, This is killing me. I mean,
It's a good engine. It's an engine nobody talks about, but it's a good engine. And I want to say it was like an award winning engine. It has a name. It doesn't drop the name here, but it has a name.
I know we're not talking about North Stars.
Correct.
Safe assumption. We're talking about 6 cylinders too. God damn it, man. I mean, they put Fortec on everything. Dude, I'm dying. I don't. This is killing. I bet it's a vehicle I can point out in a crowd of a million. But why am I blanking?
Let me give you another hint. It is incredibly platform shared.
The power plant?
The entire vehicle. It is badge engineered 6 ways to Sunday.
I don't think you came at me with a bravado.
Bravada, for one. Okay.
With that bravado.
I think we have done bravada. We actually have done a bravada.
I think we did an early bravada. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a 4.3.
I mean, what wasn't platform shared by GM at this period?
Yeah.
It's got to be late 90s, early 2000s. I feel very comfortable with that. What I don't feel comfortable is not knowing this fucking power plant. So Tahoe is probably a little bigger. So I'm thinking maybe a little smaller. Maybe. It can't be like the newer Trailblazer, could it? Which was available in 5 different trims. Let's just do it. Let's go Chevy Trailblazer. The fuck. 2002?
Trailblazer.
Get the
like a out. Rock. This is a 2003.
Holy shit.
Chevrolet Trailblazer.
Wow.
With the Vortec 4200. That was a 4.2 liter inline 6, which was also known as the Atlas.
That's
Atlas
right.
Engine. Can you for extra points? Can you try and name all of the platform shared? That was a GMT 360 chassis.
So how many? So GMC Envoy.
Yes. So we've got Trailblazer. We've got Envoy.
We got the Jimmy was not around anymore. The Envoy, the Jimmy became the Envoy. Yeah. So those are those two. Did they jam that in a Cadillac? Was there a Cadillac SRX? They wouldn't have been using that naming convention, would they?
No, that was always a crossover.
Yeah. What did they? No, because then the Escalade wouldn't have had a 6. I think every Escalade always had a V8. Maybe not Cadillac. Buick probably had some kind of bullshit.
The Buick Rainier.
Yes. And then there was a Oldsmobile wouldn't have had something because the Bravada was. Did they Oldsmobile?
They did a Bravada. They did at the very
end, did,
the
right?
Death Rattle. Yeah, they did a Bravada. You're still missing one of my favorite variants ever that you can get in a spicy version.
Oh, the Saturn Vue.
No, Saturn Vue was not based on this. Saturn Vue was a front drive Honda
That's
powered.
Right. Yep. You're right. They got the pilot engine. I was just kind of going off what you.
The last two nameplates you're thinking of are not known as GM nameplates, but they were at the time.
You could get that. I know you could get that motor in the Saab.
The whole chassis. It was the Saab 9.7 was a Trailblazer.
Right, but you didn't get the SS.
You got a different dashboard.
Motor. You wanted that.
You could in the Saab 9.7.
You would love that's Aero. The expensive one. The 5.3 and 4.2 are affordable.
No, you can get the 6 liter. Yeah, you can get the 6 liter in that.
That's the one.
Saab 9.7X.
That's Aero. The Aero, if you will.
You're missing the last one.
So Saab, and then it's not a Saturn, is it? It's a
no.
It's not a Suzuki, is it?
No.
Am I close? Is that a close one?
You're close.
It's not a Suzuki. No, it wouldn't have been an Isuzu. Or was it? Was it an Isuzu?
What is it, though? Can you get it?
Was it that has a Axion?
No, it's not the Axiom.
It's the
Starts with the same letter though.
it's what the fuck? Ascender? Was it the
Yes.
Ascender? The
Suzuki,
Ascender?
the Isuzu Ascender.
My brain is still a clouded mess from this cold, but I'm still digging through like a Susie.
So you had Chevy
okay.
Trailblazer, Buick Rainier, GMC Envoy, Isuzu
Bravada.
Ascender, Oldsmobile Bravada, Saab
97.
97X.
Yep.
You had six
97. Yep.
You had six platform shared
Fuck.
cars,
You
and then the SSR was based off that same chassis. Ultimately.
Sure. I'm more familiar with 80s and 90s GM. It gets a little cloudy in the 2000s there after the Camaro faded away in 01.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, good. I don't know how I got there. Wow.
Let me. I'm gonna kick you over in the chat here. Just a quick link.
Those numbers really gave away the modernity of what you were talking about.
Yeah, for sure. And God, can I? It's really small print. I don't know if I think it's 866 Trailblazer is the phone number.
Oh wow.
Let's see if we end up with. Let's see if we end up with.
Dude, you're gonna talk to the same dude.
I don't think it's gonna be the same dude. I think the Trailblazer guy is probably no longer with us. Let's see,
like a rock. Great photo though.
Play.
Overzealous with the motion blur, but let's go with it.
All right, here we go. Trailblazer time. Let's go.
Fuck, we're doomed.
We're doing it.
Welcome to America's hottest talk line.
Uh-oh.
Guys,
Guess what?
We're back.
If you had, yes, it's porn. You win. Ding, 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 ding.
Exciting guys free. Press 2 to connect free now.
Wait, I connect with guys?
Press 1 now.
Oh.
Ladies, press 2
Oh, there's an option. Guys and ladies. How progressive. That's good.
Is it? I think that's counter progressive nowadays, Frank.
Well, that's true. I guess that's true.
Hey.
That's a little binary assumption that we probably should not be making. Other press 4, I guess. I don't know. So yes, we're definitely. I think we've done this like 4 times now, and 3 of 4 have been porn.
Porn. Yep. Or it's porn or OnStar. That should be the game. Porn or OnStar.
This edition, yeah. We'll get our first sponsor, and it can sponsor the is it porn or is it OnStar game?
Good lord.
Yes. Brought to you by Hims. I don't know. This is not an endorsement of Hims. We are not yet sponsored by anyone, let alone Hims. So, fantastic. How should we celebrate your victory, sir?
I mean, what comes to mind is PCP, Project Car Progress.
Yeah. What you got? You got anything?
So no car stuff. I know I did a bunch of work on the Lexi, if you will. So I've been working on the garage. So the existing garage. So when we purchased our new place, and it's only been a little while. I feel like I've been here a while. Just like the amount of projects I've already been doing, it feels like I've been here for years. But the garage was fully sealed off. Right? They had made it a living space, so it was like an extra large room. So it took down that wall, and then it's kind of just stayed like that. So it's like you can see it's all finished beautifully. So it was like a finished room, like vinyl plank floors, everything finished off, like the washer and dryer out there, but they're covered by one of those sliding kind of barn door thing. It's it looks like a showroom, right? But the whole front of the garage where that wall was is just unfinished old 70s garage, right? Tight. So around the door is just rough. So I went and put new drywall, new insulation, did all that, and that's a process, right? Like that kind of work sucks. And now my garage right now, like as recently as tonight, it's like everything's covered in drywall dust. Like the Corvette, all my toolboxes. I hate picking that up because it gets everywhere, right? But
unavoidable.
That's what I've been working, mudding, sanding, taping all the seams and putting that back together. And I'll send you a picture when I'm done, man. It's such a cool garage. And I'll obviously work in it for a little bit until we like get the plan together to build the shop in the back. But it looks like a showroom. I mean, recessed lights, everything with the wood floor. It's cool. Like the ZR1's the only car centered in the space. So it looks fucking cool, man. But yeah, just finally getting around to finishing that off. So that is what I've been doing. That's important stuff right there. But yeah, until I get the shop in the back, that's going to be my garage space. And I finally finished off that. I still need to paint. The only thing left to do is paint, but I got to let the mud and everything dry. But
are you going to do like the extra high VOC paint? So like as you paint, you get like a pint of paint on the walls and you just start tripping balls.
Yeah, well, I do
like
a
not
shot.
the low VOC, like extra high VOC.
Yeah, well, you know how you have to dip your roller back in every once in a while. So every time the roller has to be dipped back in, I take a shot of paint. So it kind of works. It kind of works. The amount of drywall dust I inhaled today, though, completely. I had a mask on and I just had to still duck out. And I went outside and I blew as hard as I could, and like a cloud of dust came out of the mask. I'm like, that's healthy.
Well, I expect you at the end of this, especially when you're done painting, you're basically just slowly converting yourself to the guitar guy on Mad Max Fury Road, who's like spraying the chrome paint in his teeth and shit. Yeah, like
bad dude. I'm immune to most like automotive cleaning fluids, like brake clean, engine degreaser. That stuff doesn't phase me, man. I've been exposed to it so much.
It's the smell of accomplishment, brake clean and carb clean and
stuff. I don't even
yeah.
smell it anymore. I'm like, is that potpourri? I can't tell. But anyway, that's what I've been up to, man. How about you? I noticed your background is a different white car.
Backdrop is different. So I actually have made. It's amazing what having a little bit of time in your life can do.
Look at this guy.
I know. So two things. First off, and I'll keep it brief-ish, and maybe I'll dive in later. 924 Turbo has sold. It is gone. Finally. I threw it up on Facebook Marketplace with dog food quality photos, asking 7,200, knowing that was way too much, and realistically being like, I need to get 6. Like 6 is kind of the money on it. So they're just straight up not worth much. As much money as I have into it, they're just not worth much. It's just part of the deal. Okay, fine. It's the cars we play with. Nice. I actually got a fair amount of interest, a lot of digital tire kickers, a lot of people going, that's cool, and then just like not wanting to participate. Had one kid come out and look at it, right? And I say kid, he's probably 25.
Yeah.
Came on out, looked at it, really excited, kind of didn't know really much about it, to the point where it's like, is this factory turbocharged? And I'm like, oh yeah,
boy.
and stuff like that, right?
Let me tell you about this, like, easy to handle entry level Porsche.
So maybe I'll deep dive into it another time. But we walked through it, we started it up, it fired right up. I gave him all hey, these are the issues. This is why it's not smog, because it's not reliable enough for me to smog it. It's been doing this thing where it'll lean out. Could be any myriad of different things. I'm kind of done with it, but let's drive it. So we fired it up, we drive it. We got a mile down the road and it shit the bed. It was doing what it was doing, where suddenly it starts to lean until you touch the throttle and it just dies.
Yep.
So we pull off the side of the road. We Uber back to my place. We're waiting for the Uber. And I was like, hey, man. I was like, what do you want to do? He's like, well, can I just he's like, it feels like it's probably the fuel pump. I was like, it could be. I was like, we're messing with it. There's an external and an internal. The external's running. Doesn't mean it's running right, but it runs key on power. But he's like, well, I still want it. He's like, can I just order the part, and when it comes in, I'll just change it in your side yard? I'm like, well, no.
Yeah.
I was just like, look at it from my wife's perspective. She's not going to want some random dude dropping a fuel tank in my side yard with while my kids trying to play in the backyard. It's just not. I'm not going to do I can't entertain that. We're just no.
Yeah.
Plus, no. So I'm like, look, man, I'm going to do what I shouldn't be doing. I'm asking 7,800. It just broke down on the goddamn test drive. So I'm going to negotiate against myself, which is a dumb idea, but I'm going to do it. I was like, if you want it as it is, you can have it for 65. As it is. Non-running. We all know what we're dealing with here. And I will use a AAA. He lives in San Francisco. And I was like, I'll burn one of my AAA tows to get it to your house. And then you can drop the fuel tank in the street or wherever there. But then it's I will get it to your place. I'll cover the tow.
Okay.
And he's like, okay. He's like, man, it could be a bunch of different things. I think it's a fuel pump.
It's a bunch of different
fuel
things.
pump, which it could be.
Yeah.
It's also probably
a bunch of
nothing's
things.
Ever that easy on this car.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay. He's like, I'll do. I'll do it if you take 6. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. I'll do 6. So he came back. This was on a Friday. He's like, it's late. My bank won't be open really till Monday. I can get the cash. And I was busy on Monday. I was like, all right, come out Tuesday. And then, of course, I got a bunch of interest after that. But like, one was like a German exporter who wanted to export it to Germany, because they're hard to find in Germany and all the things. But anyways, he came on by. He gave me a brick of cash. Got it to his house. I'm like, here's the keys. Like, here's the spare key. Here's the title. All the things. I wrote up a bill of sale that was like, you acknowledge your shit doesn't run. You acknowledge that there's no warranty. You acknowledge it's on a P&O, so there's no penalties on it. And I'm covering the tow. It ain't smog. I've got no promise that it's going to pass one.
Right.
I think it did. It did last time, but fuck it, whatever.
Yeah, you put a good amount of work into
send
that
it down
car.
the road.
Yeah.
So it's gone. And it is now replaced with, and because I don't want us to go super long here. It has been now replaced with the 1988 Chevrolet Sprint Turbo that I bought from friend of the podcast, Mr. Robert Epley, over at OT Sand Company, aka OTS and Co. And yes, I fucking love it. It's so goddamn silly.
They are cool. Suzuki Cultus, correct?
Suzuki Cultus with a Chevy badge on it. And there's some interesting history there. If you go down the rabbit hole of how that whole project kind of came to be, it's pretty cool. But 1 liter, 3-cylinder with a turbo slapped on it, 70 horsepower, 79 pound-feet of torque. It weighs 1,500 pounds. It's very cool. Is it fast? No. Can it stop? No. It's got 12-inch tires.
It doesn't have 4-wheel disc, right? That one has drums in the back, if I remember correctly.
It's got front non-ventilated discs and rear drums.
Wow. Okay.
On 12-inch 155 series tires.
Holy shit.
No ABS. It's bare bones. I mean, it's a bare bones ass car with a turbo, and it's a riot. It is so fun. It's not super fast, but like, because it's so light and so short, the steering is actually great. The steering is excellent. It's like whoop, whoop, whoop. It's quick. It's direct. It's manual. It's really good. It feels much more playful than the Metro convertible ever was.
You mean no power assist needed for a car with 12-inch wheels and 1,500-pound curb weight? Yeah. That's shocking.
No, it's very, very cool.
Yeah.
And
hell yeah.
To the point where, like, so I bought it with the thought of I'm taking it on the Driving While Awesome rally, which starts tomorrow.
Oh.
And I just started kind of turning wrenches on it this morning to get it ready, because it's been sitting approximately a year.
Okay.
Put a battery in it. The oil looks great. I might do oil anyways. I've driven it like 100 miles. It passed smog, even though it hasn't passed California smog ever. It sailed right through smog. I had to do this goofy VIN verification shit where the person at the DMV was grumpy because the emissions label on the other side of the hood was like kind of melty and crinkly and old. And she's like, "Oh, you have to replace that." I'm like, "I promise you, Chevy cannot get me another one."
Yeah.
Not only is it from 1988, it's also actually a Suzuki. And she's like, "Well, if they can't get you one, you need a letter from GM on their letterhead that says it's no longer available." So I talked to GM. They're like, "Yeah, no, we can't do that. We're not providing you shit. Kick rocks." So instead, I found like an independent VIN verification guy, and I paid him $110. And he was like a mile from where I was when I happened to call him. And so he looked at it and was like, "Oh, bro, whatever." Like, and I was like, "Look, here's a picture of what it should look like." I found one off an old Bring a Trailer listing with a pic. They had a picture of the label. So I'm like,
"Oh, nice."
And he's like, "Okay, yep, that's the numbers I need." And he like wrote it down on the VIN verification sheet. He's like, "Okay, $110. Then I went back to AAA and registered it. I've got fresh plates. I've got fresh 26 tags, which is fun.
Oh, nice.
And so that, with that regard, is ready to go. But the brakes are kind of broken.
Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't do at least a pad slap and some rotors.
Well, no,
some fluid.
All that stuff feels fine. The pads and rotors feel really good, but in like 20% of scenarios, like if you're like on the pedal softly and kind of slowly feeding it, it'll just keep going to like almost the floor.
So you got a master issue probably.
Well, that's what I thought. But Robert, who bought it from this guy who apparently owned like 11 other ones down in SoCal, he's like the guy. He's like, yeah, it needs. I didn't have time to do it. It needs this. It's the proportioning valve.
Okay.
Because it's got the seals in there are wore out, and so it doesn't. It's not doing what it needs to do. Right. It's got a little damper in it.
Dude, that will never rear its ugly head during a rally. Come on, man.
Well, the good news is it came with an OEM replacement proportioning valve.
Oh shit!
So I installed that this morning.
Bled it up.
I've bled the rear circuits so far, the rear drum. So I've done the rear, and the fluid looks like I don't think iced tea can get gonorrhea, but if iced tea could get gonorrhea,
the person or the beverage,
both.
I don't know. I think you can.
If iced tea can like discharge whatever comes with gonorrhea into
coffee
the beverage iced tea,
yeah,
that's is what was in there. So it needed to bleed anyways.
Sure.
So I've now bled the rears. I'm going to bleed the front. I'm going to hope I have a pedal tomorrow when I bleed the front circuit. If not, I'm going to rinse and repeat, and also then hope that like the proportioning valve that was OEM that looked like the one that came out of it,
nice,
is the correct one, and I now have a car for tomorrow. Otherwise, I'm putting the old one back in and keeping my junk cross. But
did the lines easily attach to it?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
It all went together. I just don't know if there's like weird valving differences because like the part number on it like crosses over to a Cultus.
Right.
But I can't find anything for
these. Never had ABS. So I think you're fine. The biggest difference.
No, it's not ABS. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just didn't know if it was
proportioning valve cars is when they offered an ABS or non-ABS version of a certain car. That's
or rear discs versus drums. And I don't think they ever came with rear discs.
Right. So that's the biggest. The ABS is the biggest difference, actually. You'll see a very different layout. My Galant, one of my old Galants, I did to a non-ABS setup where I eliminated ABS period. And I had to switch to a non-ABS proportionate valve off a DSM. Completely different setup. So if it swapped over that easy, you're probably golden.
It should be okay. The original one was like a
different
Napco,
animals,
and this is a Bosch.
Frank's about to go on a rally with a car he just got, and he won't even do a fucking oil change, guys. We are very different creatures.
I have the filter. I bought the filter. I bought the oil. It's just it looks like it was done before it was parked. Like it's super freshy.
That's cool.
Topped off the coolant. What else? That's kind of it. I put wiper blades on it.
Woo!
It's big for me. So yeah. We'll see. And then I'm just gonna press it into service tomorrow. I'm rolling out at like 2 p.m. tomorrow.
Nice.
And into the void.
I'm assuming you're throwing this thing on an auction platform as soon as you finish the rally.
So that's the original plan.
Yep.
We'll find out after pre-rally me. It's like, oh, this thing's so goddamn cool for no money.
Right.
It kind of makes me want to 80s mod it. Not like a lot, but like
wheels.
Put on some goofy shifter. Wheels only to put real rubber under it.
Sure. Yeah.
Because I love the stock factory 12-inch white wheel covers are very cool. But like if I can do like white 15-inch like Sparco rallies or something like that would look
sick.
Tight.
Yeah.
Or any kind of real dishy, but with like 15s. 16s would be absurdly huge on this car.
Way too big. I do 14s.
Even 15s
or 15s. Yeah.
14s or 15s. So I can put real tires under it. Maybe you do some like shocks, struts.
Yep.
And then do like I'd want to do like really 80s like square fog lights and really do like a really 80s like graphic equalizer heavy aftermarket stereo.
I like it.
And like a really 80s shift knob. And just like I'm not mod car guy, but god damn it. Like it would be so cool for such a little 80s thing that's like with the seats, it's got those cool seats. I don't know. It's so fun for no money.
Yeah, they're just cool freaking cars.
Yeah,
it's cousin the Swift GTI is an honorable mention. Looking at one of those, I love all those little cars, man. Yeah. Even the Geo Metro was a fun car. That convertible you had. I would love to have a shot reviewing that car once you get it.
Oh, we're doing it. Yeah,
If you're not towing it back from the rally, I would love to take it out.
Yes, assuming it doesn't die and fall on its shield somewhere in the rally, and I don't think it will. It actually drives. It drives quite well for what it is. Like I feel pretty strong about it. When I bought it, I was like, oh man, I'm making such a mistake. And then I got it home and I was like, oh, it did fine. And then I drove it around more the next day. I've got like 100 miles on it now.
Nice. Yeah.
I drove it up to Mount Diablo here, and because it snowed.
Yeah, that's right.
And I was driving, I was like, oh shit, there's snow in Mount Diablo. And I just made a U-turn and went back home and hopped into this thing to take pictures of it in the snow.
Hell yeah.
But they closed off the gate halfway up the mountain. And if I can get like another quarter mile up the road, I would have been like in snow.
Yep. That would have been sweet.
Oh well. But I got to hustle it up the mountain, hustle it back down the mountain. And I feel pretty good.
Nice. Well, I hope it does well. Like I'm very eager to drive that car because I love those little shit boxes. You know me.
Yeah, it's cool.
So hopefully it's safe. If not, tune in next week while I host the changed format of single host, another Pointless Automotive podcast.
Yeah. Our guest calling from beyond the grave. You know him. You love him. You loved him. Yeah.
All right, take us home, man. Let's shut this down.
Oh boy, we are another Pointless Automotive podcast. We still currently have 2 co-hosts. I'm one of them. I'm very much alive, and I'm the photographer's garage on all of the things. But more importantly, just pay attention to us as a team in co-op mode, I suppose.
Oh yeah,
couch co-op. Yeah, so I don't know. We've got some fun and exciting things simmering in a pot here at APA Podcast. So stay tuned for some funness as we continue to grow. And tell your friends, hide your kids, hide your wife, or don't. Have them listen to the pod. Probably not your kids. You don't want your kids listening. No. But Chadwick, where can people track you down?
I've been announcing my ascension, if you will, and changing the name of the YouTube. But anyway, for now, Auto Obsessive Garage, soon to be. You heard it here first. You heard it here 3 weeks ago. Auto Obscure Garage, still working on the branding. I got my PR team out in the streets, getting business done. But all your rescues, restorations, and reviews of interesting cars. Soon, hopefully, a Sprint Turbo, which I would love to add to my repertoire of oddities. Kind of fits right in there. Tune in, check it out. Instagram, the same. But like Frank said, definitely keep listening to us. Give us some feedback. Please, we are on YouTube, too. Another Pointless Automotive podcast. Check us out there. Free to subscribe. Get on there. Get crazy in the comments. We are getting comments. I don't know how we don't warrant that kind of action. So
no. I mean, most of them are threatening. But hey, beggars, choosers.
Threatening or sexual or sexually threatening is how I break them down. All the comments. They fit into those categories.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
All right.
And so if you want to be one of those people, please jump in the comments and add to that soup. And otherwise, we appreciate it. Thank you.
Get your freak off in the comment section. Okay, we love you guys. See you next week. Good luck, Frank. Don't die. Bye.